But thank you for coming on and doing this. We always like to record people's experiences with us because there's a lot of scams, as you know, in marketing, right?
Oh,
And
yeah.
it really helps us. It really helps us to say, hey, we're real. We bring clients. We support our clients as much as we can, and
Mhm.
so I appreciate it. So yeah, I guess just generally, you know, uh, how has it been working with us?
It's actually been very easy to work with you guys, especially as far as communication goes. Um, and there will always be something that's not quite perfect at the start, right? But you guys have been extremely responsive as far as when I was like, oh, hey, this particular way we've been doing this, you know, I'd like to change it here, or I'd like to do that a little bit differently. And the entire team has been very responsive. I've never felt like you guys just kind of disappeared out of thin air, or, anything like that. And anytime people have needed to have personal time on your end, I've always gotten notice. I've always been given the contact person who's going to fill in for that period of time. And the communication with them has been very easy, very responsive. Um, yeah. And then, too, as far as the quality of clients you guys have been able to send my way has been great. Obviously, there's always going to be some people looking for a deal. But in all of the people, and I'm sure you have the exact number of people that you've talked to on my end, I only have the number that you guys have actually put into my system and booked. But out of all those people, I only had one questionable person come in, and it was, so the vetting on your end has just been absolutely fantastic. Anytime I've done my own, um obviously because I'm doing my own, I'm also talking to them more in the first interactions too. But yeah, you guys have been great at weeding out all of those weird people. So I really appreciate that a lot. That I didn't have to do it, and that you guys have those fail safes in place to filter out all of those people.
Thank you for that. We take it quite seriously.
Oh yeah.
It's something that we take a lot of pride in. To be honest, there's many forms of clients that aren't a good fit for every business, right? And so,
Hmm.
as we work with you and as we see who's rebooking, which by the way, you've got a great rebooking rate, we get to learn more about who's a really good fit, right? And then we add that information back in and try to find more of those people as we go, and that's when it really starts working. So our credit to you on the rebooking rate. How are you prompting a rebooking with the clients as they leave the business?
So when I first meet them and I talk to them, my first question is, um, has anything changed since you filled out my health history form? And in Michigan, we're required to have that on file as part of our licensing and state laws and regulations. So usually I have that when they come in. If they don't, I help them with that. But my first question is, has anything changed since you filled that out? Did you fall? Were you fighting with a weed whacker? Was there anything else different that I need to kind of look at? So already they understand that, we're focusing on what they have going on, not whatever massage pattern I learned in school. And then through the massage, sometimes people chat a little bit, sometimes they don't. And at the end of the massage, I'll tell them what I found. Oh, I noticed that there was some tension here, even though, it wasn't necessarily one of your problems on the health intake, that kind of a thing. And when they come back up to the front for checkout and everything, I ask them just simply, would you like to rebook or book another session today? Or would you like one of my business cards? And you can contact me when you know your schedule better. And then that way they have an easy choice. It doesn't feel like they have to say, oh, yes, and then run home and cancel it on their end later. And I've had a handful of people where I didn't think that they were going to rebook ever, and they took a card because it's easy to say, yeah, I'll take a card. I'll call you back later. And they actually ended up contacting you guys or calling me directly later to rebook. So, like that's it. Like I said, they don't feel backed into a corner. Like they have to say yes or no right then. Some people need a little time to think about it, process it, go try another massage therapist, and then come back to me, you know?
I like that.
So, yeah.
That's very interesting. That is an interesting thing because we see your rebooking rate is quite good, and we get lots of positive feedback about you and about everything. Like it is working quite well, and it's nice to see this, right? And so we I always ask because I'm always curious. Everyone's got their own different flow, right? So how important was it for you that we deal only in the massage space, that we only work with massage businesses?
Um, that was actually one of the selling points to me because it means that you are focused only on massage therapists, massage businesses, and their clientele specifically. You know, I've worked extensively in a lot of different businesses. I've worked specifically chiropractic, um, auto rehab, with DOs, and the clientele, even though like there's a lot of crossover, there's a lot of the same types of things. It's different when you're trying to market only a massage practice than a massage practice joined with something else. And I've tried in the past to work with other companies who worked with a couple different spaces, and I just have not seen, like, I ended up stopping their services within 1 to 2 months because I wasn't seeing enough inflow. Um, and I think it's just having that dialed in knowledge of from working with so many different massage therapists and massage practices of knowing what those clients are specifically looking for as a starting point. And then as you get to know the specific business and the specific demographic in the area that that business is located, being able to further pinpoint market to them.
That makes sense. That makes sense. If you told me like 10 years ago that there was like a language in massage, like that the massage business has like a language to it,
Mhm.
it's, I would have been like, oh, like I probably would have been almost dismissive of that. But now that we're in, like we see, for us, it's, yeah, we see like the language of massage, if you will, right? And that helps us a lot with the bookings, with identifying, clients that aren't a good fit for you, right? Like,
Mhm.
your average business, when somebody's really excited to come in and see you, that's great. But of course, we see on our end that if a male client, let's say, is a little too friendly or a little too, that might be a little red flag that we notice that
Mhm.
we say, okay, is this are they reaching out for the right reasons? And like this for us has helped us so much. And I just don't think we could do what we do if we weren't just so focused, right?
Mhm.
So it's great. So if you were talking to somebody who was thinking about signing up with spotmarketing.com and they just weren't quite sure, what would you say to them?
My biggest piece of advice would be to go ahead and do the discovery call with you guys. Um, and then also for them to have an idea of what it is that they want their business to be. So it just, some people are like, oh, I want to see everybody. Or, oh, I just want to do massage. But in my experience in the 18 years that I've done massage, is that there are certain things that each therapist is really, really innately good at. And if you can market to that specific thing, then you're going to have better positive feedback. You're going to have um, a better idea for the marketing team of what they need to kind of focus on so that they can bring you those people. Um, so yeah, if you're just like, oh, I just want to go do massage. Okay, well, do you have a preference? Are there people that you just really don't want to work with? I have a friend and another massage therapist that really dislikes working on geriatric clients. Just a thing. I have another therapist that I know who absolutely hates working on pregnant women. Cool. I have another therapist that I know that that's what her practice is all pregnant women. So that helps you further narrow down, and it helps the client fit better. Um, so you have to know that. You know, the market, you could do all the marketing in the world, but if you don't know what your niche is, what you're really good at, then the marketers are they're gonna struggle figuring that out for you. You know, they're not you. They're not in your practice every day. You know, they're working with the information you give them. So one, know what you like, what you don't like, and then do the discovery call. Call and see if it's a good fit, because not everything is a good fit for everyone, like you said. And that goes for your doctor, that goes for your mechanic, that goes for your marketing team, you know? And so you need to do that discovery call in order to see if it's something that you feel aligns with your business and your vision.
It's interesting. I think your commentary on the knowing yourself and what you're looking to build is very interesting and very intuitive, because I talk to a lot of people. Like, I have discovery calls basically all day, every day, right? And people come to me, and sometimes I'll stop and I'll say, like, what is it that you want from this? Like, what is it that you're trying to build? Because if you think that there's success in copying, the big corporate massage envy and just being like a smaller version of that, like, you're probably pretending to be something that you're not. And I always just tell people, you got to be unapologetically you. If you love pugs, like if your favorite dog is a pug, and you're passionate about it, guess what? There's other people out there that are passionate about it. So you can have, like, not, I'm not saying do like pug massage or something,
Yeah.
obviously, but you can have like your pens at the front desk in like a pug mug or something like that,
Hmm.
and like bring yourself into the business. Because the thing that massage envy and all the big chains don't have is they don't have you, right? You are the missing link to their business. So they have to replace you with things like a legal team to go over contracts and get people in on memberships. And they have to have accountants that can find razor thin margins and do this and that. They have to pay therapists very minimal, like there's a game that they play, and that's because they don't have you. And so I
Hmm.
always get frustrated when people are trying to be that, when it's like you've got so much more to offer the space,
Yeah,
the clients and everything. So I like that. So would you recommend spawnmarketing.com?
I do. And actually I have. So yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. No, there were a couple people that had reached out from a comment that I had put. Would you mind turning off the phone? I think it's plugged in over there. Thank you. Um, yeah, if you're gonna talk, would you take it like in your room or outside, please? All right, thank you. Um, yeah. So yeah, no, I had commented something on one of your marketing posts looking for therapists, and I had somebody reach out and just ask a couple questions. And when I was talking with that therapist, um, they were looking at transitioning from um, a massage envy type establishment. I don't remember exactly which one it was, but it was one of the chains, and doing more uh, private practice, which is what I'm doing now. And we had talked a little bit, and the therapist had mentioned, well, I'm doing mobile right now with some of the clients. And I was like, well, you got to decide, do you want a brick and mortar? Do you want a mobile business? Because that's completely different. I said, I don't know if spa marketing does anything with the mobile therapist, but that would be something to talk about on a discovery call, and then what kind of availability do you want to have? Can you just cold turkey cut off the employee? Can you still pay your bills if you're not working as an employee? Or, are you kind of going to start feathering in and that kind of a thing? So I don't think the person ever really did anything or reached out because they needed to figure out all of those other things first before marketing was going to be anything that would help them. So, yeah.
Yeah,
But I did
I
recommend that
appreciate
they
that a
call
lot.
you and just talk to you about what was going on, what they were thinking, what they were looking at, because they're obviously more in the research stage than ready to do anything about it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's good advice too, because there's no cost to it. Like there's no harm in having a conversation. And I always learn something on the calls too. So I love it. I go on and try to figure out everything that I possibly can. So I appreciate that so much. They say there's an expression, it's something like a referral is the finest compliment or something like that.
Mhm.
And so we take that very seriously, and I really appreciate that. We love working with you. It's been super fun. Anything else that you wanted to add about working with us? Like just any closing thoughts or anything?
Yeah, as long as the people are willing to put the therapists that hire you are willing to put the work in on their end, I hands down recommend it. I continue with your service because it does fill any holes for me. And I'm looking at expanding. I just haven't found the other right therapist yet to work with me. Um, but you do need to do the things on your end. You do have to ask for the rebook. You do need to listen to what the feedback is from the clients before the massage, during the massage, and then after the massage. Um, but as long as you really have those things covered and you could stay consistent with your hours of availability, whatever they may be, um, yeah, I don't think there is any losing with working with you guys.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on and doing this with me. It helps so much for my business, and I'm looking forward to the next, I don't know, three or four decades. Let's say 3 or 4 decades of working with you.
Awesome.
Great. Thank you so much, Kate.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Kate.
Bye.
Have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Have a good night.
Bye.